So we have to go to the next Anuvaka in the Chamaka Prashna. This is the 9th Anuvaka of the Chamaka Prashna. The essence of this Anuvaka is Yajna Siddhi. That means how do we attain perfection of Yajna. This Yajna Siddhi is again, this is a very deep Upanishadic concept. The deep Upanishad concept is this Paramatman, the absolute reality, Brahman, a Paramatman, is everywhere, is in the universe, is also in me. Therefore, we have got to identify every single aspect of the universe, and then we should say that there is Paramatman there, and that aspect of the universe is also in me. So we have got to do a one-to-one mapping. That is, how is it that one entity which is in the universe is also in me? So you start with Agnischame. The Agni, as we have seen, is in the environment. It is in me, and it is also in the sacrificial fire of the yajna. So when you take all these three, what happens? Adi Bhautika, Adhyatmika, Adi Daivika, all these three concepts are covered. That is how we have to study this Anuvaka. Gharmaschame. This Gharma is a technical term belonging to the Yajna Vidhi. There is a Yajna called Pravargya, the part of the Yajna called Pravargya. So this Pravargya is a preliminary pujas and yajnas that are done prior to Somayaga. Again, it is a pretty technical term as far as the ritual is concerned. So this Pravargya, and then the yajna itself is called Arka, and then the Ashwamedha is the horse sacrifice, which is well known, and then the greatest of the sacrifices, and the Prithvi are the deities that are in the earth. Prithvi Devi in the manifest Prithvi. Then Aditi. Aditi is the mother of all gods. And you will also see this word coming in the Kathopanishad, where there the interpretation of Aditi is one who enjoys. So this here the Aditi is the mother of gods, and then Ditischame, Diti, the other spouse of Kashyapa Muni, and then Shakvari Rangulayo Dishashchame. If you look at the Paramatman as though he is having a form, and then he stretches his hand with the 10 fingers, it will cover the 10 directions. So Shakvarihi Angulayaha Dishashchame means like the fingers pointing to all the directions. And then all of these Yajnena Kalpantam. Let all these things be available to me for the sake of worship. Because when you look out each of the directions, we already saw in the last week class that every direction we do Namaskara during the Sandhyavandana. So, but then now imagine that each one of them is a finger of this Paramatman. So Rukchame, the various Rigveda mantras that are used in the Yajna. Then Samachame, Samaveda. Stoma are special chantings that come from the Atharva Veda, Stomaschame. Then Yajuschame, the Yajurveda. Dikshachame, where you undertake the vow to perform a yajna. Then Tapaschame, that is you do the penance for washing off all the sins, Papa Parihara. Then Rutuschame, all the yajnas performed according to the seasons. And then Vratanchame, that means you take some of the vows, special vows, and then Ahoratrayoho Vrishtya. At the proper time, let there be rain day and night. I'm sure whoever is in India now will have to pray for this more and more. In fact, every reservoir pretty much in South India at least is all dried up. For the first time in several decades, Bangalore is 39.9 degrees Celsius, close to 40 degrees Celsius, which is about 110, around 110 degrees. Never heard of in a city called Bangalore. So, and then Brihadratantara is a kind of Sama. Samaveda, that we are going to study hopefully. The Brihat and Ratantra, two kinds of samans are there. Yajnena kalpantam. Let all these things be available to us. So this is the Sthula Artha. Sthula Artha means just the superficial meaning. But there is also an internal meaning. You will see that when you count the total number, there are 21 entities. So 21 entities relating to, it's a mystic number. 21 is a mystic number. So what is this 21? Pancha Jnanendriyas, Pancha Karmendriyas, Pancha Pranas, 5 plus 5 plus 5, 15, Manas Buddhi Chitta Ahankara, then Karana Sharira, then the Jivatman. So all of these things together will become 21. So those 21, let it be done, let it be available to me for the sake of Yajna. That means the entire, all of me without any exception have a one-to-one mapping with the cosmos. So these can be classified in this way. That means there are 5 sacrifices, Yajna. According to Yajna, there are 5 sacrifices starting from the Pravargya in the Somayaga. So 5 sacrifices are pointed out, number 1. And then number 2, 6 deities are chosen, Agni, etc. And then all the Vedas and the Veda mantras as a third class is taken, and as the fourth class, starting from the Diksha, ceremonial dedication, and then also embarking upon the project with dedication, and at the end, what is known as the Avabhrita Snana. That means taking a sacred bath. All of these things, these entities are covered in this particular Anuvaka. Elsewhere, I have also spoken on the last Anuvaka of the Mahanarayana Upanishad called the Vidusho Yajna, where our body itself becomes the Yajnashala and all the parts of our body itself becomes the ingredients of the Agni. Same kind of interpretation can also be done here. So one of the doubts that arise is, this Paramatman who is omniscient, omnipotent in the universe, unfathomable size and dimension, how can that be invoked in a limited finite body? That question has to be addressed. So that is not a question at all when you know that this Paramatman is not anything gross. When it is absolutely subtle, so subtle that it is unfathomable, we actually apply the concept of bigness, the concept of hugeness, because of its eminence and not because of its size. When you say Agnihi Mahat, it doesn't mean that Agni is something that is beyond the realm of our measurement. Either linear measurement or we cannot find the weight. That's not what we were saying. What we are saying is, it is the Sukshmati Sukshma, subtler than the subtlest, Sthulati Sthula, Anoraniyan, Mahato Mahiyan. So if you think of it that it is the smallest of the small, it will be smaller than that. If you think that it is bigger than the biggest, it will be bigger than that. What can happen? How can that be? It can happen only when it is subtle, isn't it? So it is the subtlest of the subtle. Therefore, this Virat Purusha who is in the creation is also the same Parabrahman, Paramatman who is enlivening all of us, within us. So, if this I, the individual body, is actually just like the universe is the body of the Virat Purusha, as we have seen in the Bhagavad Gita, he shows his Virat Rupa. Am I also the Rupa of the Virat Purusha? If so, how should I contemplate on my own body that this is the body of Paramatman? For that, Agni. Now we have got to use the grammatical origin. Adyate iti Agnihi. means that which is enjoyed. So we enjoy having a body, and therefore this body becomes Agni. And when you say I am enjoying this body, what does it mean? It means this is a visible heaven. You are enjoying. For enjoyment we use the word Swarga. For something that is visible we call it as Loka. So then what is the body? It is a Swargaloka. When does it become a Swargaloka? Only when this body is considered to be the altar of Paramatman. So when that becomes, this becomes a Swargaloka. Otherwise, if you deny the existence of Paramatman, then it is a mixture of some happiness, some sorrow. And then, so Gharma, the Somayaga process, just before the Somayaga, I said, it is when the enormous amount of fire is kindled before the yaga, then the whole of the Yagashala becomes very hot, extremely hot. So in this concept, Gharma means Naraka. That means if you feel that I am suffering, then this body itself becomes a Gharma, the Naraka. So you don't have to go anywhere else to experience Varga and Naraka. Then Arka, Ara, the Sanskrit root Ara, it means quickly. Kam, Arka, means Sukha. Kam means Sukha. So, Ara, quickly, Ka, that which gives Sukha, is also Brahmaloka. It is a location where Brahma, Chaturmukha Brahma is there as our teacher. And this Brahma is none other than the sun. Because what does the sun do? Sun is the one which gives us a field of operation. He energizes and enlivens the world. He actually brings rain. Everything about the sun is wonderful. That is why Surya is Arka. Prana. Arkascha me, Pranascha me. Prana is this Vayu. Hagam Sashrutishat Vasurantarikshasat. That Prana is, our own Prana is Vayu. Because the Prana Vayu which goes through us goes back and forth unhindered. You cannot hold it, you cannot stop it. If you stop it, then we will die, actually. And then these are also the parts of the Virat Purusha's body. So how do we define Virat Purusha's body? Agnir Vayur Aditya. Isn't it? How does our Pantra Pushpa go? Where does it start? It starts with Agni, then it goes to Vayu, and then it will go to Surya. So Vaitapan Apamayatanam. Ayatanam. Ayatanam means the location, the support, the holding ground. So the holding ground of Vayu is the atmosphere. But it is not limited by that. Just as the holding ground for our breath, which will keep us alive, is the body, but the body cannot limit the flow of the air. Same thing happens in the atmosphere also. And then this Vayu. So all these are for Yajna. Means what? When I perceive the existence of Surya, when I perceive the glory of Agni in the earth and in my body, when I perceive the glory of Vayu, then all that I am looking at becomes knowledge. And that knowledge is actually Yajna. So a new interpretation comes out of this, saying that worship leads us to knowledge. After all, any subject you worship, then it will become yours, isn't it? Therefore, with great dhyana, with great concentration, we have got to study this jnana, and therefore the prasada of all these are required. So therefore we pray Agni, Garma, Arka, and then we will continue and see how each one of them has to be experienced in our body itself. For example, Idmaschame. Idma means it's a bundle of 21 summits that we bundle up, and that's the first thing we offer in a yajna. So next time you see the Maharudra, please watch carefully. You will see that what is the first thing that the priest will do. After igniting the Agni, invoking the Agni in the Yajna Kunda, the Yajamana and the Adhvaryu, that means the priest who is conducting the Yajna, the Yajurveda person, he will ask Brahma. Brahma is the supervisor. Brahman idmam adhasye. Hey Brahman, please permit me to install this idma, a bundle of 21, into the Agni. Then the Brahman will say Om Adatsva. So he will take it and then put it into the Agni. So what does it mean? It means that in the before the Yajna, all the list of 21 I gave earlier, all of them must be offered to this Paramatman, saying, this is yours. And what does he do? He burns away all the ajnana, ignorance, that is located in each and every one of these 21 aspects of our body. So that is the philosophical interpretation, which we will continue in our next class.